Dawn, tonight marks the first night of Hanukkah, and dozens gathered at the Springfield Jewish Community Center to ring in the holiday with a menorah lighting ceremony. Western Mass News reporter Maria Wilson was at tonight's ceremony, and she now joins us live in the studio with the story. Maria?
Matt, the JCC community gathered together tonight for an annual tradition, but this year the Festival of Lights held a deeper meaning for many in attendance.
Going back to the Maccabees, the Jewish heritage, no matter the challenges and adversities they faced then or now, their perseverance, fortitude, strength just makes the move forward in a positive light.
It was a night filled with prayer, music, and fellowship at the Springfield Jewish Community Center. Dozens, including Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno, came together at the JCC to celebrate the start of Hanukkah. Sunday's event having an added meaning for those in attendance after a fire broke out at the center last month. Jewish Community Center CEO Sam Dobrinsky expressing her gratitude to Western Mass News for the community members who she says helped them through a dark time.
Oh my gosh, it makes me emotional to think about the support that we've received from the community, not just tonight to welcome the holiday in, but since the fire started, we've had organizations reaching out to us. That truly is the light that has come out of this darkness and the fire.
In light of the fire, Dobrinsky tells Western Mass News this year's event was even more significant than in years past.
It feels extra special and extra important to be able to gather with our community and celebrate the light and joy and miracle that this holiday brings.
The light will continue to grow with one candle lit each night throughout the 8-day celebration, which ends on December 26th.
When we face these types of challenges, everybody rallies together to help, and that is the good of the community of Springfield.
And if you missed tonight's menorah lighting ceremony, communities throughout the area will host other events throughout the week to celebrate the holiday. For a full list of those events, you can head on over to our website, westernmassnews.com. Reporting live in studio, Maria Wilson, Western Mass News.